Should there be a salary cap in women's football? There's been a bit of backlash from fans of other clubs around the record transfer fees that Chelsea have made in this January transfer window. So I want to unpick it a little bit and give my 2 pence. The argument is against the teams that are already dominating in women's football, i.e. Chelsea. To be fair, they've won 7 league titles, 5 of those back to back. They're 7 points clear at the top of the WSL table, and they remain unbeaten in all competitions this season. So yeah, I understand the frustration of fans of the WSL and other teams. I say other teams as if I am not one of those. The gap between the top 3 or 4 clubs and the bottom half of the table is getting bigger and bigger. Why are we consistently talking about growing the women's game, needing more funding, and then suddenly feel threatened when a club invests serious money into their women's team? We can talk about how there's less money in the women's game in general and the disparities between clubs. But the reality is the vast majority of teams have a men's team in the Premier League, or they have the potential resource to invest in their women's team but aren't tapping into that. Again, the argument returns back to money. Why invest money into something that isn't returning revenue? If that mentality was applied to everything, nothing would exist. There wouldn't be successful businesses or brands or entrepreneurs. If you want your team to be successful, ultimately you need to take the hit and invest. Only then are you going to create something that's going to lead to results. Big names, exciting games, that's the thing that gets bums on seats. Winning tournaments, winning league titles, that equals cash prize funds. Each time a team progresses to the next round of a tournament, they accumulate a bigger pot of money. Although the pot prize fund should be bigger in the women's game, but that's one for another day. Now, it's quite clear Chelsea are tunnel vision on getting that Champions League trophy. And to do that, they need squad depth. Playing in 4 competitions at the highest level when no single player is immune to injuries or personal circumstances that might affect their ability to perform. I'm going to be the first to joke, if they don't get the Champions League trophy this year, it's just not meant to be. Of course, it's easy for me to sit here and say that clubs need to invest more money into their women's team. If the money isn't there, they need to consider their USP to bring in more revenue. You could drop a new clothing line every week like Arsenal. Obviously joking. What kind of? But I don't think we should be talking about capping the cost of expenditure in the women's game. What we should be talking about is how we can ensure that other clubs aren't left behind. Because the bigger that gap grows, the harder it's going to be to catch up. And quite frankly, the less competitive it is, the less fun it's going to be to watch.